Huddle Up Podcast. It is August the 12th, 2025, and we are glad to be back with you again as we inch closer and closer and closer to the return of the live shows. We will be back live with you, not next week, but the following August the 26th. We'll have our college football preview show where, of course, we will look at the conference champions. We will preview the college football playoff Heisman Trophy winner. We're also going to look at the big slate of games to open up week one of the college football season, which is getting oh so close to us as we are here today. We will still have a show next week. It will be if you could change one play in your team's history, which would it be? So get ready for that. And of course, we have this one here. So we are closing and moving through the month of August at a rapid pace now. Huddle Up Podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitter. You can get Huddle Up Podcast Inc. on Instagram and Huddle Up Inc. on Twitch. You can grab our merchandise over at TeePublic. Just hit the link tree in all of our social media. We would certainly appreciate that. Again, light crew for this week, as we're gonna have the same one for the last recorded episode before the live season begins. It is just me and brother Sean. Sean, how we doing this week?
Oh, we're doing great. Rocking and rolling. We're down here. We're back into the school year, so get the teaching shoes back on. And I guess get the football fan shoes back on too, because we are right in the middle of it.
We are real close now. NFL preseason is still moving along, and college camps are getting, like I said, I think our first set of college games is a little over a week away now. So very excited about that. But this week we're going to look into the fashion world. Yes, don't adjust your radios. We did say that. One thing I've always liked to do in all of my podcasts is countdowns. I mean, we did a countdown last week, so to speak, with the top quarterbacks going into the season. This year, this week, a little bit different as we look at the Mount Rushmore of current NFL uniforms. The top four. Certainly, there may be some jerseys that don't make the cut. Some uniform sets that don't make the cut, because I'm looking at kind of the full scope. So home, road, alternates, different helmet options, different pant options, different color combos, and see which ones we like the best. So probably going to be a little bit shorter this week. Next week will probably be a little bit shorter as well, since we'll only have two sets of plays from each sport to go over. But that is okay, because it'll just give us a little bit of a respite for what I'm sure will be some long episodes as we get into the football season in our preview shows. But all right, enough intro there. Sean, let's kick it off. What is your first in your top four here?
You asking for my fourth, or you?
Yeah, we go 4-1. We can go
4-1. We'll work our way up.
First in the list for sure.
All right. Well, first I wanted to shout out to my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions. There's a huge group that in a top 10 would have had several of these guys in. There's a group of what I would call the classic or the timeless uniforms, where a third jersey doesn't even matter, and there's no changes. And there's a handful of teams that I was, the Orange Crush Broncos, the purple of the Vikings, the Steelers black and gold. I would argue the Niners and the Cowboys, maybe even the Colts, those kind of things. Those guys are all real close. My favorite, like traditional, probably the New Orleans Saints. The black and gold, I think, is sharp. Same with the Raiders. They were like, both of them almost made my top four without factoring in third jerseys. The Saints fell out because of their new third jersey. I don't like the gold that they've announced. It's not gold. It's goldish tan.
It's like desert tan.
The
Nikes, like that material doesn't bode well for gold.
Don't get me wrong. I mean,
dazzle fabric.
The Saints have arguably the best color scheme at black and gold that there is,
which is real black and gold as opposed to the Steelers, which is black and yellow.
Black and yellow, right? Yeah, and I like the black and gold of the Saints, but they didn't quite get in, and so the teams that did at number 4, you can call me a homer if you want, but I am going with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 4.
Homer.
I just think the Eagles do a phenomenal job of with their home and road jerseys of mixing and matching, pants and those kind. I think that the all blacks, I think that the all whites, I think, when you go black with the green, I don't think is a bad combination of them, and they like to mix it up. And I think sometimes they pick it by matchup, sometimes it might be ran. I don't know how they always seem to find the right one. But when you throw the Kelly green back in, and not only do you throw it in, but then while you're wearing them, you get arguably the most iconic running play in the history of the NFL with the reverse hurdle. And now, like, ingrained in the Super Bowl run you just went on is this image of a Kelly green jersey that you still have in your arsenal, and we've won it for so many years. And I just think that you have a fan base that would buy any color. They could be like, we're going to do a diarrhea brown Eagles jersey, and
Oh, I know the Eagles will, because that
even if
year
the
they
teams
wore
hate
those.
it, they'd be like, okay, I'll
Even
buy
when they
one.
wore those 1930s, the yellow and baby blue, people bought the
Yeah, they
shit
were.
out of those.
I don't know that was a full blown Eagles decision. I feel like they were like locked into that 75th, and everybody was going back to
It was
their inaugural
horrible.
uniforms. And I mean, it's the color scheme of the city was the blue and yellow. And you see it kind of now with the Philadelphia Phillies, their City
City
Connect
Connect,
uniforms.
yeah.
Yeah,
I like
they
the City Connect.
yeah, they went with a very different blue, but the Eagles historically wore that powder blue. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles, I think every combination just looks mean. And
I hate midnight green, man. I hate it. Like,
I
if the Eagles had Kelly
well,
green for
and
home and
the
road, like,
evolution of the midnight green
oh,
has been
it
interesting because
sucks.
I have some throwback that they called midnight green that are very different than the ones that you can buy today. But I think
Thing
that
sucks.
I think the darker it's gotten, the better it's looked, and
Yeah.
I think that I just think it's
I'm like,
sharp.
it would be fitting in my life that the first time I ever went to WrestleMania, it was WrestleMania Midnight Green. It sucked. But the mini helmet, which is up above the top of the flag there, they did a midnight green version, they did a Kelly green version. So I bought the Kelly green helmet at least.
There you go. Yeah, but
But it was
I'm taking my birds at number
it's
4.
green everywhere. Yeah, if they had Kelly green as their primary, they would have made my list, because the Kelly green is great, even though I
It's
hate the Eagles.
perfect. Yeah.
But coming in at number 4 for me, because, and I'll spoiler alert, I don't have the Dallas Cowboys in my top 4. I love the
Also,
Cowboys uniform.
spoiler, I do not either.
Yeah, I love the Cowboys uniforms. Their home uniforms, the white, silver helmet, and then like the bluish silver pants, like the different colored pants that they designed specifically to make the blue the light blue in the jersey number pop. It was a specially designed color. Love those. Love the Cowboys throwbacks, the white helmet. But
I bet
they,
that
they
costs about as much as a pass rusher.
well, yeah, that's true. But they, yeah, did not quite make the list. They are one of my favorites. But coming in at number 4 for me, and it's they when the NFL went back to Nike, some teams got really futuristic looking with their uniform designs. This team did, and their numbers looked like an alarm clock. They have since reversed on that decision. They went to like the Brad Johnson era, just the classic pewter red, and they could play in those. And then now that the NFL has gotten out of its own dumb way, at least in one aspect, where you can have a different color helmet, this team has circled back to their original, the creamsicle orange and white and red. And now this year they're adding in the white away uniform version of the creamsicle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in at my number 4 spot. I mean, it's great stuff. The tattered flag, the skull and sword logo, the pewter it's a unique color. It's a great look. It's a great look all around. They should have never they should have never gone away from the creamsicle, but then once they did, they should have never gone away with the uniform of their first Super Bowl, and I don't think it's any coincidence. Tom Brady didn't hurt them, but no coincidence that when they went back to them, they again won a Super Bowl. So the Bucks
Yeah,
are.
and they were, spoiler that they're not in my top 3, but they were real close, and it's just baffling being down here because even those like when they had the bizarre numbers, they had a Color Rush uniform in that when they did their, where it was like a big pewter number, and it was a phenomenal looking jersey minus the style of number.
Yeah.
It was just the
They
color
did
scheme
better with it.
works.
Yeah.
I obviously see it a lot more than you do,
Sure.
living in the Bay Area, but yeah, it's a cool color scheme. I love the whole idea of pirates in general. So like having the whole pirate thing, but for me, it's weird for me. And the Eagles and the Kelly Green, like while there were some real bad teams, also like arguably the best Eagle that ever played, and the best defense that we ever saw up until maybe this year, uh, wore the Kelly Green. Whereas the Buccaneers, it's just baffling down here that they cling to this creamsicle jersey, which, don't get me wrong, is classic. It's iconic, but it symbolizes a whole lot of failure. Like that team stank the whole time they wore them, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what
This guy sucks.
we'll see what their performance looks like wearing them. But it'd be real interesting to see if they have a good run going, and maybe a season, like a division winning or a division game with a creamsicle on. They drop a game where they shouldn't. Maybe start to like complain about them. Be like, maybe it's superstition.
Put them back away. Just
Put them back in the closet.
Tuck
We'll
them
come
away.
up with something else.
All right, Sean, who you got at number 3?
Number 3, the team that replaced the Saints when I started factoring in the third jerseys, the Detroit Lions. I have the Detroit Lions at number 3. They could have fallen in because they still have a very classic color scheme, and when they wear the traditional blue and silver, it's sharp looking. It's vintage. It reminds you of the old Lions. But and it probably would have been close to my top 5 just with those. But you throw in those all blacks that they wear with the blue numbers
And the blue
and the
helmet.
Oh my gosh, is that a sharp look? It's almost like if the lights went out, you wouldn't be able to see them. That they would know, Jared Goff would know where his receivers are. He'd just pick you apart in the dark.
Well,
But man,
Goff caught that touchdown pass when they wore him last year
oh
because nobody
man,
saw him.
yeah, the all blacks with the blue. That is a sharp look. And,
Well, the cooler part about those, because the Detroit Lions are my number 3 as well, and they wouldn't have been there a couple of years ago, but going into last season, they went back to a like modern take on like the Barry Sanders era
yeah.
uniforms. They went back to the classic ones. If you go back a couple of years ago, they kind of went with that style, but they had like a weird like italic font, and it was a gray.
I think the whole league was trying to get too modern. Like it was
Yeah.
almost like they were trying to like add pizzazz to everyone's uniforms, and it just
The NHL went through the same crisis, and now a lot of teams are
some
circling
things just
back
don't
to
need pizzazz. Some things are great because they've always been great, and you just don't mess with it. But man, am I glad they messed with it on that third one.
Yeah, and so part of the deal was, and what makes it even cooler with the black uniforms is because they hadn't worn them in a number of years. And when Dan Campbell went to team ownership and front office and said that they wanted to add he wanted to add a black jersey back into the mix.
I feel like
and
they wore silver at one point.
Yeah, they had a all gray. They had an all gray, and then they introduced a blue helmet with like
Which, to be honest, didn't look terrible. The all
No,
gray.
I thought the gray was fine, and they added a blue helmet with it, but like I think everybody was kind of clamoring for that black jersey back. And the front office basically told them and said, all right, we'll win a division. We'll give you black uniforms. So they won a division. They got the black uniform. So that's just an added twist to that whole saga. And then even when they do their throwbacks, their Thanksgiving, I mean, it's just the silver helmet, blue jersey, and it's a very plain uniform, but it's just their color blue and the gray just pop with each other.
But again, it's iconic, and I think everyone knows why they wear it, and everybody knows it's Thanksgiving because they see the throwback unis. And I think those guys are excited to wear it when Thanksgiving comes around.
For sure. Yeah. So, the Lions were my 3 as well. So Sean, we'll go to your number 2.
Number 2, flashback to last week, my top quarterback in the league right now, Joe Burrow, and his Cincinnati Bengals comes in at number 2. I mean, the Tiger look in general is fantastic. Do I think this is the best home and road combination they've had? No. I think they've had some with like there was one where they had the stripe that went the whole way up and down that like was like a trend in the NFL for. I thought the
Andy Dalton era ones.
Like it had like the stripe
that
like almost
into
the pants. but I think the Bengals were one of the only teams that like were able to pull it off because it was like a tiger stripe, and so like I
Sure.
like those. But the Bengals, the tiger helmet in general is, I mean, probably would have been strong enough to get into the top four with the tiger pattern in general. But you throw that all white Siberian tiger uni on that, like it's not my number one.
It
And
might be the best single uniform in
the
the league.
best, it's probably the best single uniform in the NFL. Because man, it doesn't matter if it's Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, big chubby defensive tackle. Everyone looks great in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Bengals are a strong one. And then last year they added the orange pants, so you can do the orange, all orange, which was a solid look as well. Bengals didn't make my list; they were near it. The team coming in at my number 2 is a team that you mentioned didn't quite make your top 4, probably would have made your top 10, and it's the Las Vegas Raiders. It
I got no
is
problem with the
it
Raiders
is
being in this list.
it is the I believe, or at least it was a couple years ago, the most sold jersey, not individual jersey,
Right.
but like just in terms of
You take all the players sold.
all the jerseys sold, and it does include like custom ones. The Raiders are number 1. The black and silver, man, is such an iconic. It's a great matchup of colors, and it's simple. They don't do any outlines of the numbers. It's
Nope.
silver on the black jersey, black on the white
Why would
jersey.
you need a border? You already have, I
Yeah.
like the black and gold of the Saints, and I like the black and silver of the Raiders.
Yeah, and I think they're like AFL throwbacks where they do the white with the silver number. They do a black outline, which is probably more for TV than the Raiders actually
Well, yeah,
wanted.
it's harder to see the number. It's for
But
officiating, it's for coaching. There's a lot
yeah,
of reasons why you would need to do that.
but like the logo itself is just perfect. Everything about they've they've never really changed it. They've maybe made a couple of tweaks here or there. You don't need to change perfection. The Raiders are simple and easy and to the point, and it's one of the best looks in sports.
Agreed.
All right, Sean, who is your number 1 uniform combo?
Well, something tells me, because I haven't heard you say it, that we have the same number 1 on this list.
Okay.
Number 1 for me is I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
And it's because, to be honest, if it was just the lighter blue and the current home uniform, it may not have made my top 4. It's a great look, and I love the lightning bolt on the helmet, and I think that too has become iconic. But you factor in bringing back the LaDainian Tomlinson era, like navy, and I mean, I almost signed up to buy one when I heard it, and I don't even really root for the Chargers. It's a great look. I think that, and now they have so many combinations of the the white helmets and the blue helmets, and you have the, I just feel there's really not a lot of bad things you can do with that uniform as long as that lightning bolt shows up, almost like the tiger pattern for my Cincinnati Bengals. Like, I just feel like that lightning bolt's going to sell. That lightning bolt's going to look crisp, and I think in general, whichever blue you choose, that kind of blue, yellow, white, all looks real sharp.
Right. Well, you can hit this button for me,
Homer.
Because the Chargers easily my number 1. They may have made they were definitely would have been in my top 4. They may have ended up at number 1 even without the two new uniforms this year. Of course, adding back in the blue helmet, the LT style uniform, and then I even like the yellow, the all yellow uniform that they introduced, that they'll be wearing once this year. But yeah, now also adding into it, they've never worn light blue pants. We actually saw that look at the preseason game. That's a new option for them. So you have combinations of light blue, white, yellow jerseys and pants and socks, and then you add in the navy blue. It is a fantastic combo. You have a ton of stuff to play with across the board. So you're not gonna, which is such a contrast to my number 2. Like you have so many combinations with the Chargers, all of them great. The Raiders, they're like, we have a home uniform and a road uniform. Take it.
The only other team with like as many options that I can think of is Seattle, and I didn't have him anywhere near my top 5. because I think that a couple of those combinations are real terrible.
Well, I hate the Seattle Seahawks uniforms except for the throwbacks, which they did bring back last year. They're wearing them again for a couple of games this year. But the Seahawks,
The neon green,
the neon green
just get it
sucks.
out of here, man.
It's awful.
Go
And I know I'm
direct
going to catch
traffic
flack
at an
from my
airport.
wife.
You
She
know what I
loves them.
mean?
But
Ugh,
they
gross.
wear the all gray. They just I don't like the color blue and the color green that they use. They have like stupid
To be
markings on
honest,
the
like
helmet.
if I was ranking them, the gray with the blue shoulder is probably fairly high on my list of like their combinations because I think
Yeah.
it has less of the green. I feel like
Yeah,
that green is just so invasive.
but
And
like you have such a great uniform with that Rick Meyer era, like
the
just
Myra,
blue
the
and
Steve
silver.
Largent, yeah, you had like those those throwback unis from that era. I think they're great, and I think that that's something with the Chargers too. Is if you want to switch up your throwbacks, if you go historically to the evolutions of the Chargers uniform, you can literally pull one from the Dan Fouts era from any of those, and
Any era.
that Dan Fouts those jerseys are phenomenal. Like where
Oh
it was
yeah,
more of a it was more of a like I don't want to say like a Michigan yellow, but it was a darker.
yeah. It
And
was
I think those are great
Michigan-ish.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
we're in agreement at the top,
for sure. Yeah,
which is great. A little bit of disagreement in between, but I think that I think that that's the correct choice. And anyone who thinks otherwise can just send us an email, and we'll write back and tell you why you're wrong.
yeah, yeah. I am never shy to tell people they're wrong about anything.
I know I used to live with you.
But yeah, the thing I am happy about in the NFL is that teams are starting to get a little bit creative with it, and that the NFL has gotten out of its own way. At least with this, there. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of ways where ESPN. Well, I say ESPN because as we're recording this, we just found out the news that the NFL is officially buying, or Disney, I guess, is buying like the NFL network and stuff, and the NFL is getting a 10% share of the league revenue. So when you watch ESPN covering in the NFL, remember the calls are coming from inside the house. Like I'm glad the NFL has gotten out of its own way a bit with the uniforms, because they're allowing teams to have multiple helmets, and you're able to have more weeks where you change the look of what you're putting on the field, because again, it's marketing. Like look at baseball. Look at the Philadelphia Phillies wear a different uniform almost every game, it seems. Because you have the Thursday throwbacks, the Friday City Connects, your regular white and red pinstripes, and you have the Sunday the cream color. A couple of years ago they had the red jersey. You know, of course, you have your road uniform. So like
we've worn the all maroon, we've worn the powder blue.
Yeah, like there's so many combinations there. The Orioles introduced this year, so they have their City Connects. They have white and gray. They have a black jersey. They have an orange jersey. They introduced orange pants this year for the all orange uniforms. Like the baseball allows the teams to get creative, and they don't put rules on it. The NHL has some rules, but you have third jerseys and you have extra jerseys and this and that. But yeah, just finally the NFL was smart enough and to realize, hey, if we let these teams wear these things, people are gonna buy them. Too.
Yeah, and I don't know if it had something, you know. I mean, as you get into a world with like legalized sports gambling, and you can run into a world with there's so many other revenue streams and things to focus on, and like how do we broadcast the game, but like also encourage people to bet, but like also not encourage people to bet. And there's a lot of things, you know, social media wise, there's a lot of other things to focus on that like in years past you haven't. And I don't know. I feel like it was just one thing, you know. Goodell was like, man, people don't like me. And I don't think he really cares if people like him. You know, he's obviously been love him or hate him. And the answer is always hate him. He's made a pretty popular product and just kept that thing streamlining. But I think it was just one thing, like, why are we even bothering with this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't always the NFL in general. They would bring up, like, we'd like to introduce a third helmet, and we'd like, or another helmet. And, like, it wasn't just like the commissioner. It's like the owners and the like, no, I can't.
Well, the NFL claimed it was a safety issue because they said you could only get like properly fitted for one helmet, and if you introduce another helmet, it would. But then they also didn't have a rule. Like I remember, like one year Tom Brady was trying out like different actual like make and model helmet. So I'm
Right.
like, well, he's not wearing the same helmet all season long,
Right.
and it was such a it was just such a ridiculous like.
Couldn't possibly get fitted. Like, well, what if we just paint the same helmet a different color?
Right, like I remember one night on Monday Night Football, I think it was when it was so cold in Kansas City that Mahomes' helmet cracked when he got hit. I'm like, so is he supposed to put that helmet back on because you can't properly fit
The
the
other
guy?
one's not properly fit.
So it's just
You gotta
it
just
was
take
just
him
such
out
an
of the game.
absurd. It was they get the nickname No Fun League for a reason, but
But we're
yeah,
getting there. Now we just got to focus on getting some celebrations back, and then I think we'll be back to a fans game again a little more.
for sure. Anything else to add on this one, Sean?
I don't think so, man. I'm really, like you said, really stoked about where the league is on the uniform policy, and I was going to bring up the baseball thing as well. That just like you watch these people go. Fans want to buy jerseys, like they want to represent their team, and like that fan that's like, I probably shouldn't spend the $100. I don't really want to spend 100, and they're like, well, I guess I don't need a Barkley jersey because I already have a Hurts jersey, and I don't really like the white. Well, I'll just keep the one I have. It's fine. But you give them color combination options, and it's like, well, now I can get my Hurts in this color, and I can.
And also, even if you're like, well, I don't want to spend the $100 on a jersey or $200, $300 on a jersey, creating those merchandise lines under those uniforms. I mean, you go into the Phillies team store at Citizens Bank Park, you have the throwback section, and you have the City Connect section,
right? And it's T-shirts, and it's hats, and it's wallets and cups, and they're all in like a whole different color scheme. The Philadelphia, your wrestling merchandise from playing in Philadelphia, there behind you has the dark green and one logo, but they also, like you said, produce things in Kelly green. So, like that's an option that everyone has now because it's like that. And for some teams, it doesn't work as well.
No,
because you have that iconic color scheme. And so you don't need to do anything more exciting. And maybe those are the teams that were blocking it for so long. And they're like, don't give these teams options because we've established that we don't have any. But
and then you get the Packers.
The Lions proved you can do it.
The hand painted throwback style helmets this year, like it just adds a cool option.
I'm excited to see it. I would be excited anyway because it's football, and
we're junkies.
I'm a junkie at this point. Yeah, just pump that football right into my veins. But I think it just adds an element, and it makes it exciting because you have there's always another generation coming in, right? There's always young people, right? And they don't care about how great John Madden was, and they don't care about how Fran Tarkington was a running quarterback. They don't even know who that is. They're like, what are you talking about? I teach kids that don't know who Steve McNair was. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like who's the best quarterback in the Ravens front? Like, well, I mean, and I'm like trying to tell them that they used to be the Browns. Like, what do you mean they used to be the Browns? The Browns are still here. And you're just like, okay, I forgot. I'll be like, how about that Lamar Jackson? Huh? Look good in purple, But now you have they like options. They like and the young audience and the young crowd has money to spend. They have extra money. They're the only generation with extra money.
We've seen that in college too, even with
they have jobs but no rent.
With historic teams, we've seen that in college. Like Michigan in recent years has added blue pants and white pants, and they're doing different. Notre Dame has started. They do the Shamrock Series uniforms, but now we've seen even when they go with the green, they've introduced. They did the all green, so they had the green pants a couple years ago. They've now introduced white pants into the option, so we've seen the blue with the white pants. Neutral site last year, we saw the all white at Clemson and USC last year. There's rumblings that this year we may see an all blue, blue jerseys, blue pants for Notre Dame. And because here's the deal, man, you've seen the videos when they unveil these uniforms, kids love them. Like, yes, the history of Notre Dame and Michigan and Ohio State and Alabama is great. Now Alabama is a team that certainly hasn't changed anything. You have one uniform for away games, you have one uniform for home games. But you see these uniforms and the history is great, but kids, they like, there's a style, there's a whole different thing. They want to be, it's every team's kind of keeping up with the Joneses at this point. But so that's our fashion file for the for this season, and we'll
Always
dabble
consider myself a fashion expert.
we'll dabble back into things. But I just want to remind everybody you can follow us on all of our social media. We're at Huddle Up Podcast across the board, on Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitter. You can get us on Instagram at Huddle Up Podcast Inc. You can subscribe to us, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel if you're here watching. If you're on the podcast side, hit the subscribe there. Please follow along with us. Hit our link tree. It has everything, merchandise, and all of that. Again, we'll have a recorded episode for next week, talking about if we could change just one play in our team's history, what would it be? And then 2 weeks from today, we will be back. We will be live. It will be a marathon episode. I'll warn you now. It'll be a marathon episode, always is, when we preview the college football season from top to bottom, all the way out to the end, and preview live games as football will be back. So until that time, we hope you take care, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.